How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Aftercast. This is episode 51. I'm your host, Victory Saber 77. This is the Transformers Late Night Transformers podcast or Hangout, where we talk about anything and everything Transformers and anything else that is in the collecting world or just whatever comes to mind, essentially.
Just nerd stuff.
As Dalton said, we're nerds, and we're going to talk about nerd stuff. And we lost all our viewers now, so thanks, Dalton.
Thank you, Dalton.
I didn't think we were nerds, but okay.
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm not a nerd. I'm a geek. There's a difference. There is a difference.
All right. But we'll get into some introductions, then we'll get into some polls and topics. And if you guys have anything you guys want us to talk about, put it in the comments. We'll try and get to them, and either during the show or we'll leave time at the end of the show for those. So, but Chris, if you want to start us off.
You probably gathered what my name is, but you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and yes, Twitter, and Facebook, all Barra Prime, so hi.
Don't you know you're second?
Yeah.
Actually, I should really change my YouTube name, because you think of it, it's like people know me as Chris, and then my name is Barrett Prime. They're like, I wonder what his name is. So yeah, I should really get on top of that.
Alright, well, I'm Dalton. You can find me at YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Daltonians TFs. And do want to mention one thing. Cartoon Mondays is going on a bit of a hiatus. Instead of just jumping the gun and doing a show without watching it, I'm going to actually watch
What the heck, Dalton? What the heck?
Oh, man.
So I'm going to watch the cartoon all the way through before I go over it.
I'm about to break the news to my kids now.
Wow.
That looks. God, that was our quality time.
It's only, once a month thing now, so
Yeah.
instead of bi-weekly.
So, it's quality time once a month I had with my kids.
Well, now I'm going to do my bi-weekly Mondays, Dalton. Now what am I going to watch?
Great. I'm just going to have to start drinking
You
more.
have to watch.
You can knock a bunch of quick ones out, like do Centurions, do Visionaries.
But after what happened with the last episode, I'd rather just, actually plan it out and make sure everything's fresh in my mind.
Cool. That works. Keep the explosions to a minimum, though. I don't want this huge Big Bang production. Like, whoa, he must have spent at least $100,000 on that. But Jay, you're up next.
Alright, I'm Jay. You can find me on Twitter at NemesisJazz13.
And Josh.
You can find me G1Hexatron on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and my Facebook page is the G1Hexatron.
Cool. And you can find me, Victory Saber 77, on Twitter and YouTube. And we do have a couple of other shows. We have the eBay show, which is on G1 Hexatron's channel once a month, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday. And we'll let you know when the next show will be airing. And we also have the Cybercast, which airs a couple hours before this, every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on G1 Hexatron's channel. And we're going to have some guests lined up for the future episodes. We have Susan Blue, we have Derek J. Wyatt, potentially Rick Alvarez, and some other third-party companies also. So stay tuned for that. And we are doing something new on the Cybercast, or bringing it back, essentially. We want to showcase collections again. And how we're doing it is you send G1 Hexatron some pictures, 10 to 20. His email is g1hexatron@gmail.com. And make sure that you put collection in the subject bar, and also tell us how you want to be called. If you want to use your real name, an alias, Twitter name, YouTube name, whatever it may be, and we'll feature you on the Cybercast. But again, 10 to 20 pictures, unless you have just a huge amount. I mean, essentially no individual, robot pictures. I mean,
Yeah.
no collections too small, no collections too big, but those are kind of our guidelines. Other than that, Josh, I'll let you kind of take over. That you have some RID links and some other stuff on your Facebook page.
Yeah, on the Facebook page, the G1 Hexatron, if you're interested in watching episodes 1 through 3, I have put the link direct to the free torrent so that you can click on those and stream those torrents. If you once you watch those, episode 4 is actually direct stream on my Facebook page, to where all you got to do, it's in the box like a YouTube video. Click play, and it'll start playing episode 4. I'm going to try to get as many as possible here in the future done like that, so that you don't have to click to go somewhere else. You can just click play and you can watch it straight from the Facebook page. So
awesome. And one thing I want to mention, Emerald City Con is coming in March, end of March, March 27th and through the 29th, which is Seattle's Comic-Con, essentially. And just want to mention that it's going to be a good show. There's going to be quite a few people, celebrities and such, but it's not as big as San Diego Comic-Con, obviously, but it is pretty decent size. What?
Like, if I went, will I be able to get Victory Saber 77's autograph and picture taken with him?
You might. But unfortunately, the downside to it is tickets are pretty much sold out. You only have the Friday show, I believe, that's open. But still, it's going to be an awesome show. And then I believe there's an anime show, too, the next weekend. Forgot what the name of it is, but Sakura Con, I believe, is next. But wanted to mention that, but do have some topics, but let's talk about some hauls. Did anyone get anything?
We can skip hauls this week. I mean,
what? You didn't get anything?
No.
Yeah, I got some stuff on order, but it's not here yet. But Dalton, we know you have something.
Yeah, I just got Cosmos and Swerve here the other day. Finally, glad to finally have those. Now I need gears. Bombshell.
Prime. And Prime. And what else?
Wind Charger.
Okay. Not Thundercracker.
I'm glad Dalton did the thing where he was just like, I got Cosmos and Swerve, even though they were right there, and I felt, I could hear him like grab for him. I'm glad that he didn't do the whole, I got Cosmos and show it to us like we don't all know what Cosmos looks like, and Swerve and show you that, So props, man. I appreciate that. I'm just saying that always bugs me whenever people are like, what'd you get? Oh, I got, Cosmos, this is what he looks like. I got Brainstorm, and like you see him in the camera, and it's like, yes, we are aware of what he looks like. So.
Now I have motion sickness because.
Exactly.
But anyone else get anything?
I did get my Gundam models in that I ordered.
And what were they again?
The Gundam Exia Dark Matter and Gundam Benice Rinascita something. I don't know. It's Italian. I can't read it.
Okay.
And it took me about like 8 to 9 hours to put them both together.
Wow.
And then
are they snap type model kits or like accepting
high grade?
Yeah, high grade 140.
Okay.
144. Okay.
Yeah. Then I ordered 2 more today. 144 real grade.
Cool.
I've been thinking about jumping up a scale. I forgot what it was. Is it
1/100's next?
1/100. Yeah, I was thinking about jumping up a scale for a couple of those. So.
I want to get a 160 grade, but those are expensive.
Yeah, you start getting to like what is it, perfect grade, master grade, and stuff like that.
Master grade's 1/100. Perfect grade is 160.
Okay, yeah, I forgot which one went with what, but
the 160 though, those look really nice, especially the Zaku one.
Getting a little bit expensive, and I'm always afraid that like if you break like a little piece on a 144, you get some super glue, fix it, and for the most part you don't really mess up the figure. And you only pay like probably about $20 for it, for the most part, so not that big of a deal. I was thinking about, okay, I kind of got it down putting these things together, so maybe I'll jump up to the 1/100, and I don't know, we'll see.
I would get 1/100, but I like keeping them all in scale.
Yeah.
Want some big stuff.
That's what she said.
You guys talking about?
Yes.
You guys talking about the 144 scale Gundams? Was watching a demonstration video for the Magnus and Minimus Ambus. That's actually the scale that they're going for Ultra Magnus is 144.
The what?
The later Magnus that's coming out for Combiner Wars. They're going 144 scale with that.
1/144. That's
yeah.
Seriously? They're actually, for the first time, talking about scale.
Yeah.
After over 30
Who said that?
years.
Who
Yeah.
said that though?
It was one of the designers.
I call
who said-
bullshit.
It was on one of the actual designer videos.
It was at Toy Fair.
Yeah.
1/144th. That's
It says
small though.
Yeah, and
That's
that
Voyager
leader
class.
I mean, that's
Yeah, Gundams are about the size as,
deluxe figures.
Yeah, the 1/144 scale is a deluxe.
yeah.
160. That would be
about
that's
right
like
for a leader.
Jetfire. That's a leader class. That would be a leader class size.
There's something gotta be wrong
But
there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Chris, did you get anything?
I haven't got anything as such. I bought stuff on eBay, like back last 2-3 days ago. What day were we on? Yeah, Saturday, weren't we? So yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, 2 days ago, bought some stuff, waiting for that to come in, and been mainly trying to get some PC stuff. So.
Bought some
Right on.
eggs and milk and bacon.
Well, I am
Your
after
neighbor?
a G1 Scorponok that's the box isn't mint, but I passed it like 3 times. The first time I went to get it, it was like 140 quid, and the second time I went to get it, I was like, oh, obviously it's gonna go for a stupid amount of money, and it went for like 50, and I'll never forget that. I was screaming when I saw that. I was like, but and this one, it's ending in like 16 hours, something like that. I can't remember. I sent Dalton the link. And
What the heck ever happened to that KO G1 Scorponok? That thing came out,
it's
right?
on there. Yeah, you can. I mean, easily pick them up for like 110 quid, something like that. You always see
I don't
them
even know what it is.
That's like $160, something like that.
Because I don't know how it works. Like, I don't know if it's like dollars and cents, but I always hear you guys are like, okay, this is quid and now this is pound, and I have no idea which one. And
I'm
I don't
pretty
know.
sure quid is like our cents and pound is like our dollar.
is that it?
Quid is basically the same as pound. It's like, well, you would say buck or dollar. It's basically that.
Oh, so it's the same thing?
Yeah.
Man, this whole time I've been thinking it was like 2 different things. Like, it was like, oh, we
Why
say
do you-
pounds if it's like
It's
in
like-
the I have no idea.
It's just the
It's like the
location
difference
that you
of me
live in.
going up to like Jay and saying, "I would like to buy a figure off you for $100, sir," and it's like, "I just buy off you $100." It's a more like relaxed, you know.
I
Like,
would like to
I
know
always
who
listen
talks
to a
like
lot of
that
people
when
from the
they buy.
UK to where they'll talk about something. They're like, yeah, I picked them up for whatever 20 quid, and then in a different video they'll be like, yeah, and I picked this up for like for a tenner, or then in
Yeah.
another video they'll be like, yeah, I picked them up for 20 pounds, and I'm like, so there's like. I just them always calling it different things. I always thought that they were completely different. Okay, well, so it's all the same. So a tenner just means 10 pound or 10 quid.
pretty much all the same.
Okay,
Mystery
so it's
solved!
Right
buck,
on.
it's like buck, dollar, and like it's like, oh, that cost me a Jackson, Or like that
couple of Franklins.
cheeseburger cost me a Lincoln, Like, oh my God, you had to trade in your Lincoln? No, an Abraham.
Yeah. A penny? No, one of those paper things.
No,
Lincoln.
one of the paper Lincolns. God, if we did that, man, it'd get so confusing. It's like the English language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, my hauls, nothing. Essentially the same as Josh. I do have some stuff on order. I ordered the unique toys.
You're gonna Dalton us.
No, I'm not going to Dalton you. I mean, it could have been here by now, but oh well. Color version unique toys, Maniaking, and I have some other stuff coming as well. But that'll probably be some of my next reviews. I have Firebird I'm going to be dealing with, but I'm also I'm going to start working on G1 cassettes and like the eHobby, Cobalt Century, the KISS players. For what it's worth, maybe the Dino cassettes and whoever else, Shattered Glass. So I think those are pretty sweet.
Didn't you say you were gonna get that X-Transbots Megatron at one point?
I was thinking about it, but I actually like the Hasbro. I'm actually going to pick up the Takara Legends series, Megatron, whatever, but I was thinking about it. It looked pretty cool, but then that prototype that we saw in package that looked really buddy, or whatever
Yeah.
it looked like, we just was like, okay, I don't know about that. And regardless of whatever company said, we're just a middleman, we're just going to get you this for cost, you pay for shipping, blah blah, and they're not supporting it. I still think it's going to be a good product, but I'd rather just wait for an official.
Oh, you're talking about
Takara-
Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a Pokemon whenever people say that name. It's
I
like,
think it was Master Force UK is the company that was like, we're not making any money off of it. We'll give it to you at cost.
Yeah.
they changed their wording afterwards, mind, because wow, they really, really, really went on to basically and just made their name mud. Just like, oh, don't do that. And then when everyone cringed, they went over the internet like,
Yeah, they deleted it, or they edited that out, because at first they were like, yeah, we're going to give it to you cost because we think this is going to be a really bad figure, you know.
they
and
said
we're
it's
not
going to be a
taking
floppy
returns.
mess. There's going to be no point in buying, but if you do, on some crazy reason, buy it, we'll list it for the exact price of wholesale or something. I think quote for quote that's what they said, and everyone's just like, cringe. No, no, no.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've talked about that before. I mean, that was kind of like dragging a company through the mud. It's like, well, you know what? I think I'm just going to quit doing business with you guys. At
Yeah.
that point. And then they edited that part out, and they were just like, all right, cost or whatever. But actually, X-Transport has updated and said that they, you know, sorry for the delay, and they are, you know, just want to make this thing as perfect as possible. So they're still working with getting things the way that they think that they should be. So I think if you want to look at the positive side, it might be because of, you know, a company bashing them like that. They were like, well, you know what? We want to show them. You know, you're going to sit here and openly bash us. You're an online community, you know, not community, but like a store, you know, retailer, and you're going to bash us like that. We want to make sure we come out with the best product possible, and maybe they don't always put that thought and care into every single individual figure, but it's because of that. And now hearing kind of the X-Transbot, you know, reaction to it and delay of it makes me think that, you know what, you're probably going to end up getting a pretty solid figure with this guy.
Yeah. It was just bad for him to say that because the site was only up, I think, prior to them saying that, like 2 months. So, like, a brand new site saying that, it's like, well, if you were something like, I mean, even really, if TF Source or Big Bad Toy Source said that, you'd still be like, whoa, okay, that's a little bit harsh there, fellas. But straight away from, like, a brand new website, and it's like, yeah. But, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
Welcome, Trent.
Someone was handling it like their blog instead of a retailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How's it going, Trent?
Pretty good.
Good. Any hauls? Kind of going over that real quickly for you.
Afraid not today. I was expecting something, but I think the weather might have held it up.
We've got a huge snowstorm here in Texas, so
It's supposed to bounce back this way.
I think we got like half an inch or something like that.
Wow.
We got like 3 or 4 inches here. Then it came back.
We just get ice, basically. It's just ice on the roads. It's not snow. So,
That's worse.
yeah.
No, we got both.
Well, you're Colorado, man. I mean, come on. Washington, too. We get it, too. I mean, it's just expected.
That's like us saying it's hot in the summer in Texas.
Well, see, at least
James says
you
it
guys
rains
up there
one
are
year.
prepared for it.
Yeah.
You know, with the ice plows, the snow blowers, like someplace in the south, like I remember back it was a big storm in Mississippi, and like they had to get like power trucks to come from out of state in order to try to like restore power in
crazy.
some areas. Yes.
Yeah.
Over here in the UK, if we get like more than like half an inch of snow on the road, it's like, oh, calm it down. Like the country just shuts down. Like, no one goes in, no one goes out. All you see is people on the fields, like on day 1 and day 2, is like watching The Walking Dead, just like no one there, and you're like, oh, virgin snow everywhere, kind of thing. Just no one moves.
It's the same thing, and I'm not trying to piss off the New York, you know, if we have any from, like, no offense to Count Marzo, but I love when they all of a sudden it's devastating when you see the news. Devastating, a snowstorm hits the Northeast and all this. It's like, dude, it snows there every year. It's not something that's new. Yes, the magnitude is different, but it's like it's just like it caught them by surprise. Like, oh my goodness, it's like Seattle. Oh my goodness, it's raining again. Oh my God, it's just too much rain. The gray skies have come in again.
Me and Trent. Oh, it's 120. Yes, it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
We
Those
kinda,
are here too.
And high humidity. Yes.
but all right. Topics for tonight's Aftercast. We're going to go over the pros and cons of DC Marvel as far as the characters. Kind of skipped that last week, and it can be really short. We kind of talked about it on the Cybercast as far as like the movies and the television shows, and even branched into some of the animated one-shot movies. And then I also had a question or a subscriber asked. His name's Rudy. Wanted to know how we kind of keep our collection clean, as far as like how do you display them, whether they're in on shelves, you keep them in the packaging, and then how do you go about keeping them dust free and or go about that. So we'll venture into that, and then another topic we'll just go into. What was it? Here. I had it. We were going to do it on the Cybercast, but we didn't. I thought I wrote it down. But G1 character that you think was better in a different series, and not talking the toy per se, but like an actual character, like for example, animated Blitzwing. A lot better as that character than the actual G1 Blitzwing. But that's my opinion. But we'll tackle that also. But yes, what's going on? Someone said something. Nope. All right. We'll move into real quick. Let's just answer the question for our subscriber Rudy. How do you guys go about displaying and keeping it nice and tidy? Someone speak here.
Anyone? Okay, well, I keep my Autobots all together. My G1, I have a couple of different shelves here where I keep the Autobots all together. Obviously large in the back and small in the front, and then I also have on the same wall Autobot Masterpiece, and I kind of a mixed bag of third-party and generation stuff. On a separate wall, the wall you guys never really see.
And everything's out though. You have nothing that's like encased in anything.
No, everything's out and they're on shelves just because I haven't bought DTOFs or anything like that. I haven't. I'll probably do that whenever I buy a home, and I'm like, all right, now I'm not moving this stuff. But just have, on shelves, Decepticons G1s that are on two different shelves, Masterpiece G1s. Barely represented, but there's a lot of Seekers on there. But got those, and then obviously, I try to brand the shelves together, like TMNT stuff on one shelf, then I have the new stuff, Starcom on one, Brave stuff, Star Wars and stuff like that. So as far as cleaning, I think it's good to do, especially on Transformers, and especially if they're G1s, at least once a month. And you just start, there's, something obviously, probably all our, parents taught us, or, but, because I remember this because my mom used to make me always like re-clean all the time, and it'd be like, I would start cleaning from the bottom because that's what I got to first, and go up, and then she'd be like, now there's dust on this bottom shelf. I was like, yeah, I cleaned that first. She's like, no, you start at the top and then go to the bottom. And then I do that, and she goes, did you get ceiling fan? I'm like, no. And she's like, all right, we'll clean that. Now you gotta clean everything else. So, yeah, man, she made me clean my room. So, but starting at the bottom, you just do one shelf at a time like that. I'd say once a month, and with some of the G1s, especially your expensive figures, or don't have to be G1s, but with those, I even like to kind of get like a Q-tip and like in the joints, because that's going to keep those joints. You buy these G1s and you want to keep them in great condition. If that's the type of collector you are, and you want to get it, bend it and kind of get a Q-tip and just get all in there and in the little crevices and stuff like that, just because that's whenever discoloration will start to happen and stuff like that, and it'll build up, the dust will even. So I don't know, maybe that's a little too much, but you keep them looking like they just came out of package from 1984, 85, 86, whatever. So doing it like that, and if you're spending with G1s, almost $100 a figure, and plus you obviously want to make sure that they stay in that type of condition.
For me, real quick. Oh no, Dalton, go for it, man.
For me, I kind of do the same as far as displaying. As Josh, Autobots go on their own shelf. Everything's split out between the lines, and I put, like, I'm also a Lego collector, so I got my Lego and Monocle stuff separated on their own shelves. As far as cleaning, again, top down, first thing I do is I take all the figures off, clean them individually, then wipe off the shelf.
Cool.
So.
Nice.
How often do you do that, Dalton?
Once every couple of months.
Okay.
I need to get myself an air purifier as well.
Cool.
Same here. Like once every couple of months, I'll grab like some latex gloves, and I'm gonna give me a Swiffer, but I usually get like a little, probably like a Kleenex or a dry wipey, and I'll just take them off the shelf. I'll wipe them down off with some disinfectant and a rag. I'll wipe the shelf down and put them back. And I keep all my Autobots together and all the Decepticons together.
Right on.
You guys are weird. I don't do that.
Well,
Keep
what
my
do you do?
Autobots and Decepticons together. Just I put them I separate them by like what line they came from.
Really?
Okay.
Mhm.
That's cool.
I try to keep my movie figures together, my universe, my Armada. I try
Well,
to do
yeah,
that.
yeah, I do that too.
But within that, do you separate them from Autobot and Decepticon?
No,
Oh, okay.
they just go by whichever one's tallest to the smallest.
All right.
Got to follow up to that after you get done, Jim.
For me, I usually just take a figure and I throw it in my room, and wherever it lands, that's where it's going to stay, and that's how I do it. No, I usually have all my stuff exposed, unfortunately. I started the process of just putting shelving on the wall and stuff, and I probably should have gone the DTOF route, and but I don't know if I'd have enough space within those. I need several of those. But for me, I have a special HVAC that kind of takes most of the dust particles out of the atmosphere in my house. I also have a special kind of screen on my register for the AC and for my heating vent, so that takes away dust particles. I have my windows actually tinted on my room also. And then I just use this kind of dust rag that my wife found. It's an oil-free dust rag that I use to wipe them down. And I do exactly what everyone else does. It's twice a month. I usually take everything off, wipe it down. It's a freaking pain in the butt. I even do it in here with boxes. I start at one end, and I'll dig, and boxes are everywhere, and it's just a disaster zone. I mean, it's horrible, but you have to do it. I mean, at times it's just, especially with G1 toys or anything that's like has white or like Sola Chigoken, stuff that I've put some effort and money into. I've just like I hate seeing a film on there. I haven't gone the route of putting on gloves though. Maybe I might do that. Just like mask. I'm like maybe a hazmat suit. I should do that, but I don't know, but
like Breaking Bad.
there you go.
Now, you
Yeah.
mentioned like tint on the windows. That's a good idea. Like I have, these, like little. I have no idea, like bamboo blinds or whatever. Uh, and I have 4 of them covering up the window so that if I turn the lights off, it is pitch black. You can't see your hand in front of your face. And also the lighting that you
Yeah.
use in the room as well is important. Um, and so, like, I take all those yellow bulbs out. I use, white bulbs as well. The ones that you want to clean the most. Maybe, like, if you only do a couple times a month, you want to make sure that you do, your white figures even more, especially if they're G1. Um, Another thing that I do is when I clean the shelves off, I just use paper towels and water, and I clean it like that. I know that like if you're, most stuff whenever you're cleaning, you'd use like Pledge or something like that. I don't do any of that just because there are certain, Transformer figures that have, diecast or, batteries or whatever, and I don't want any type of chemicals around them. I want to keep it chemical free. I want to keep it, sunlight free. Any type of corrosion that might happen, I want to keep that free. So that's basically, the other thing. I don't know if it's necessarily a tip, but that's something that I do, and all my electronics still work. All the die-cast metal has no rust. It just, it's all still perfectly fine.
Chris, how do you keep your stuff clean, or how do you display your stuff?
I keep them clean like how a real man keeps them clean. You don't clean them.
You know,
No, I'm
clean-
joking. Seriously, I clean
That's
them.
my man. Yeah,
you
alright.
outsource it. That's what I do too.
But no, literally all I do is just like once a month, something like that. After time, it's like even with Metroplex here, is I haven't cleaned them in like 2 months, and there's virtually no dust, and because that, which is my little turbo fan, and it's a purifier, and it costs about 250 quid. When it starts up, it gets really loud, so that keeps out all the dust. What else do I do? Yeah, I'm just doing the same as what everyone else does, but what was it? How do I display them?
Yeah, like do you have them on shelves and are they encased in glass or just hanging from the ceiling? I mean,
I'm not that
Autobots,
rich.
Decepticons. Do you separate them factions? Do you separate them series within factions, like G1's here, Armada here, Generations here, or do you just be like, look? Because I know some people, like Dakota, he has like a hot rod shelf, so it's just if your name's Hot Rod Rodimus, you're going on the shelf. Starscream, they're collectors like that too.
It's very different for each shelf. For example, like that shelf can be completely different. That's like my masterpiece and whatnot shelf that goes all the way up there. And then I've got like my main kind of starter shelf, which it goes like timeline from the very bottom is like the oldest, and then as I work up is like the newest. On the left is all the Autobots. On the right, it's all the Decepticons. And normally, basically, yeah, biggest ones, generic stuff, biggest ones at the back. I don't know why. I always put the very biggest ones in the corners. That's just me. Combiners as well. I normally put them offset instead of like in the corner, just like not exactly in the middle, but again, just like a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Really, there's no like specialty by it. And then obviously when I go on my masterpiece shelf, I keep all the boxes behind it. And well, the Junkion leak, the Matrix thing isn't exactly a masterpiece, but it's a masterpiece of a specimen, yeah. But there you go.
right on. That's cool. And we're joined by I think one of Dalton's friends. You want to introduce him, Dalton?
Guys, this is Jeremiah. Again, welcome, Jeremiah.
Hey, buddy.
Whoa.
How's
How's it going?
I'm
Not
good.
too
All
bad.
right.
All right. I don't think we can hear you, or maybe
No.
he says 1 second, one
His
word.
audio jack isn't.
He's leaving now. All right. It's cool. Don't worry. Josh left too, so
He's implementing some sort of device that would possibly kill us
So yeah,
all.
going back to that, I need to get some actual white lights for my ceiling fan, or else things are going to start yellowing.
Yes, definitely. I would totally do
I
that.
need a ladder in order to do it, because a ceiling fan's a good 10 feet from the floor.
I'm very curious, Don. How often do you actually clean your shelves?
About once every couple of months. I should be doing it more. It's just
Yeah, I saw your shelf. When was it? I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and it was like, I don't know, if you was like small enough, you'd probably sit on your shelf and do like dust angels kind of thing. I was just like, I can tell like the shelves you really like because they're like semi-clean, than the ones you don't really like interact.
well,
It's just like,
it's just
We just put him up.
it's just a progression thing. I get
Ouch.
one completely clean, then I get the other completely clean, and then the other one starts building up dust faster than I can get them all cleaned.
mm.
Right on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
There we
can.
go.
There we go. I had an accident with my computer about, I think in December, where it fell off where it was standing at the time, and literally the plug for my speakers was inside the laptop.
Mm.
Like, literally, like, you see all that shredding right there?
Yeah.
That's from me pulling it out. And ever since then, my internal mic is picky.
Oh.
hmm So it's like I got this connected via USB on the other side, but. But how's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good. Our question was, like, I can see that you have some, things displayed back there. How you display them, and how do you keep them clean?
Well, actually, that is my Sentai stuff because since it's bigger, it's got priority over the bigger bookshelf. My Transformer stuff is actually right there,
Cool.
and how do I keep it cleaned? I actually have a little bit more difficult task thanks to living with tile floors.
Ooh.
Dust settles a lot more quickly around here. I end up dusting my stuff about 9 days.
Oh, well.
I fly. Swiffer loves me. Swiffer and the dollar toothbrushes love me.
Oh yeah, those are good.
You got a comment by Godbot. He says my brother's Voltron collection got destroyed with the moisture in his basement. There's mold all over them.
That
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing I can never keep clean, no matter how many times I clean him, well, he's actually on the other side, is that you guys can possibly see him, is I got a Fort Max back there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude never stays clean.
There you go, Dalton. He has a Fort Max. What's up?
The heck, dog.
he has a Fort Max. I have a Metroplex. So
Okay.
Oh, trust me, I already got him back for saying, "Oh, I have a Fort Max," and I was like, "You just told me this after I lost my job." Yes, you're just rubbing salt in the wound right now. That's all you're doing.
All right. So hopefully that clears up kind of what we do, Rudy, as far as just how we display our stuff. Would you guys recommend, if you can, and if you have an IKEA, I guess too, to get those detop shelves? I mean, they do help keep the dust out and such, but and they're fairly inexpensive. Go that route? Yes.
probably.
I mean, I would like one, or I would need more than one, obviously. I'd like a bunch of them, and just like the whole collection room, just be all like detox. But it kind of cuts down on the amount of space that I would, have. So
Yeah.
I mean, if I everything that I have now, if I was doing detox, then and even having like the turtle base like assembled and trying to do like some little displays and stuff like that, I would probably my collection would start to actually go into my bedroom and stuff, and I don't want that. I want it separated. Like living room, kitchen, bedroom is like, look, this guy's just normal.
It's just normal until we get to the one room.
Nothing going on here, ladies. You know, I'm just a
Mhm.
normal guy
Yeah.
with a one
Just never
bedroom
go to the last door
townhome.
on the right.
Don't worry about that door. And then,
Yeah.
once they're hooked, be like, hey, I found the key. to
Once
that
they
other
can't
door.
leave, then you're like, okay, you can see
Yeah.
the chains
Once
on the
I've
door, the
deadbolted
door's locked. Yeah, no escape now. Bars on the window.
I saw this one guy what he done with Detox to like fit more figures in it. He actually put them sideways. He done it like normal, as if just like normal stacking up. I think he managed to fit like 20, 25 like different like Transformers and Gundams and things like that. And then when he turned on his side, he managed to get in like 50 or 60. Just like kind of. The only problem you got though is obviously you're limited with height because you can't exactly. Well, you could cut into the glass, but that's going to be a nightmare to clean up and whatever. But yeah, I mean that's not bad. Just don't stack them too high because obviously weight crushes glass, and you'd be sleeping one night and you.
That would suck so bad.
You wake up and you get like 50 cuts in your feet from all the glass.
Like I was telling you guys before the show started that this morning I watched that 50 Shades of Grey or whatever.
Oh.
and then whatever it's like you got them hooked. And be like, oh, now here's the key, and let me introduce you to my pleasure room.
Pleasure room. And they were just
That's what he
like,
calls
we
it,
thought
so.
you'd have other things,
Yeah.
not toys, like that type of toys.
This is my pleasure room. Let
Now
me
you're
show you
creeping
all the
me out.
Toys, and then she's all freaking out. Oh my God, he's got whips. No, they are Transformers and stuff.
Oh, it's my pleasure room, all right, but it's not the type of pleasure that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
It's my inner child.
Yeah.
Actually, they
I
probably
was-
would have rather expected to see the chains and the whips and all that. They're like,
Yeah, they're
oh
little
yeah,
disappointed.
no.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were that kind of. No, I can't date you. No. That's okay.
Ask, tell. If you ask, I'll tell. But if you don't, I won't bring it up. Not now.
Yeah. I mean, that's how, like, when I started collecting, and, like, heavily getting into collecting, I was still living in an apartment with my wife. And 3-bedroom apartment, so I had at least one room that I could put a lot of stuff. But, it incorporated stuff that was in this room and in my toy room. And I didn't have as much. And my parents came over and were like, wow, what the hell is this? I mean, we saw it before, but now it's like, this is getting to be really weird. And then from that moment on, I was like, I always had the door shut. I never wanted to expose that and just be like, wanted to share anything like that, especially with my in-laws. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
But now I'm in a house and I have 2 rooms and there's no spare bedrooms. So I had to explain that. Like I took away some of the spare bedrooms, and so you can't, really stay here, which is a good thing for me. But and it's like, well, why? What's going on? Well, the office is, doesn't have the bed in there anymore, and I have other stuff in there, and they're like, okay, and they're like, whoa,
But
weird,
I
okay.
have a number to a really nice hotel down the road.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you can go that route. But my parents now, though, have finally accepted it, and they actually, my mom especially, likes to go in there and, like, look at things. And before, she would always say, well, you can't take this with you when you die and all this other type of, stupid, mom type of stuff that she would say. And I'm like, well, yeah, if I build a tomb.
That's why I'm gonna enjoy it. That's why I'm gonna enjoy it now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, Mom, have you looked at your shoe collection and your clothes collection? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But they accept it now. My in-laws, not so much. But, my parents, it's kind of fun that I can actually enjoy sharing that with them now and not have to feel like kind of embarrassed in a way. I mean, I'm throwing it out there, but
Everyone's
It's just-
some type of collector, whether like I've mentioned before, in my teens and early 20s, like I was into like building up, cars, and like racing them or doing car shows and stuff like that. I was a CD, DVD collector before that. When I was a young kid, and then at one point I was a shoe collector, and almost had 200 pairs of shoes and stuff like that. And so it everyone's some type of collector. There's watch collectors, there's art collectors. It just, hey, you know what? This reminds me of my childhood when things were easy and fun for most people, and you didn't have to worry about bills. You didn't, that's for the parents to worry about. Whether you only had 2 toys to play with or you had 500 toys to play with, it reminded you of something that you enjoyed, and that's why you collect. Is like every time you pick that figure up, you look at it, you think about it, you get, you talk to people about it. It brings you back to that childhood, but now you're an adult, and it makes you, feel good. So, so I mean, what about it? I mean, even females collect. I mean, dated girls before that, had 200 purses. I mean, how many of these things can you actually use at one time? Well, just one.
Yeah.
It's like half the stuff you don't even use it. You always asking me to hold your stuff.
I am the purse.
Yeah, you're always like, hey, can you put this in your pockets? I don't want to carry your purse. I'm like, why do you have like 200 of them then? So.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
I
the
don't
same.
know why.
I mean, it's. Oh, go ahead, Chris, sir.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't know why like some people get like really embarrassed about it. Is I've always said through when I say when I first started collecting, when I obtained some proper like Transformers and bought like my own one instead of saying, hey mum, dad, Christmas, hey, I've always looked at them as if like time capsules. It's like I would go out and buy like Energon stuff because that was a happy time in my life. That was like one of the most iconic points of like cartoons, obviously not including like Batman, things like that, but as in what really sets in for like Transformers for me was the Unicron line. Hope I don't get shot through the window now. Gotta keep an eye on that. But yeah, I just see them as like capsules of like, well, little time capsules. Like some people go out and get pictures, which that's fair enough. You look at the pictures like, I remember that point in my life, la la la, and then some people go out and get toys or like little cars, like figurines, models, and whatever, and be like, I'm getting this model because this was like the first model I bought with my dad bought me before he died or passed away, so things like that. So yeah, everyone has their own kind of take on collecting. I mean, it's not always about like time capsules. Like I bought this because this happened in a time of my life. Some people just think that looks cool, but it's like, say for example, I would say a good 90% of my collection is based off, well, not including that because that's just random stuff, but like all of that side of my room is purely because of things in my life. Is like I remember watching the show and I remember how I felt about like Transformers back then because it was the bomb. So yeah, each their own, really.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you.
I think that's the very first time I ever said it was the bomb. I've never actually
Yeah.
said that. Okay, that's
We
fine.
did-
I
we did-
don't
we did
say that
yourself.
anymore. Yeah.
That's cool, Josh. If you want to do that, that's fine. But for like, it's weird. Like when I said like embarrassed, I mean it's odd because you grew up in a time, for me, because I'm 10 years older than most of you guys, or even more. It's a different style. There was no collecting. When we were kids, it was just play with your toys, and then you grew up and you moved on. And everyone can collect things, and that's totally cool. But it wasn't normal to collect toys. You can collect sports cards, you can collect comics, you can collect all that other type of stuff, music and DVDs. But collecting toys was making you feel like you're still a child. You're still wanting to be a kid. And that's how like my parents kind of looked at it until I kind of finally explained to them, this is kind of a normalcy out there. People do this. They're like, especially my age group, we're going back and recapturing our childhood. Like what Chris said, you want to kind of capture that nostalgic feeling, kind of like what a song does for you when you hear it, and you're like, oh man, that takes me back to exactly that moment in time. And some of the stuff I didn't have when I was a kid, and so I blame my parents. Well, if you would have bought me this stuff, I probably wouldn't have gone out and bought all this stuff. And but some of it though, a little embarrassed because I don't like to talk about it, is like when people see the collection, they're like, oh my god, how much did that cost you? Yeah. Especially when I start saying, oh yeah, look at the Japanese G1, this stuff right here, this stuff will cost you an arm and leg. And then my parents were like, okay, so you drive that car right now, and you have all this. It's like they look at me like, why couldn't you invest your money? But they finally got over that. But that's the kind of the things that I was always like,
Mhm.
kind of embarrassed. It's like, how do you justify? Like, I just spent $600 on a toy that's 30 years old, that's used, that's probably been played with by someone else. You know, it's like $600. My parents will look at me like, you're crazy, but we still love you because you're our son. But if you were someone else, we would say, get away from us. You know, but
Exactly how it is.
it's that type of scenario. So it's kind of hard. I mean, I'm lucky enough my wife has accepted it from the very get-go. Probably knew there was a screw loose. Maybe that's why she was attracted to me. I don't know.
That's the main obstacle right there, is the spouse. So
Yeah, is finding someone that accepts you for who you are and kind of doesn't have to enjoy it with you, but realizes that's kind of what you are. That's what you want. That's what you're doing. As long as it's not interfering with, obviously it's putting you in the poorhouse. It's becoming more like an addiction to the point that that's all you do is you're like Gollum now, and this is my precious, get away from me,
Yeah.
I'm stroking my great shot, just like, yes, he's so cute. I triple change him and say, oh, here he is. He's a gun now, But it is what it is. But
I was a
all right.
lot different with my girlfriend. I actually didn't tell her until like 2 months. My collection was like really, really small. It's like I could fit it on like a shelf. Like I think I had like 5, 6 figures, but I still had like boxes of like Power Rangers and whatever. But I just chucked the blanket on her. So after like 2 months of then, like she really liked me, and when I showed her, she was like, "What is this?" I was like,
Oh, you suckered her in. Kind of built that up a little bit.
No. I just left it at that. So yeah.
All right. Maybe we should do that, another show on just the topic of how do you explain that to your significant other, or if you're dating someone, that question. It's not like, oh, we're going to talk about kids? No, not kids. My collection. We need to talk about that. How do we bring that up into the conversation? But moving on, other topics, or do we have any comments or anything else?
Yeah, we have one at least. It says Prime Matrix 1986 says black shelves always look good. The black really brings out the details on the figures half the time. Unfortunately, the dust is very noticeable on black shelving. I have pretty much all my figures on big black shelves in my walk-in closet, and somehow dust still travels in there. Yeah, it's the same thing as a car. Best color-looking car out there is black, and that's the one that's going to get the dirtiest of quick. Like, as soon as you get done with the car wash, man, it's just a little bit of dirt, in the air, whatever, and you can see everything. Streaks, rain, whatever, spots, I mean, it shows up. But it looks nice when it's pretty for, like, the 20 minutes after the car wash, man. It's beautiful. That's all I used to buy was black cars. I loved them, and whenever I went to car shows and shined them up. I was sponsored by the cleaner Mothers. Like Mothers, they did like car waxing and all the stuff. Like I was sponsored by them, and we did everything. Man, it looks so nice. But yeah, man. After we left, 20 minutes later, man, you could see every speck of dirt on there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black is nice and it's sleek looking. It's in a way, it's like elite looking or elegant,
yes.
but yeah, it sucks when it comes to dust and dirt and all that. I mean, it's just, and fingerprints, oils. I mean, I hated when I was collecting comic books. You get these nice black covers, and if you don't have either gloves on or your hands are washed, it picks up that fingerprint, thumbprint, or whatever you may have just brushed, and you're like, oh my goodness. Now I look at the cover of, like, let's say Wolverine #1. There's like a thumbprint right there, like by his head or something. It just sucks.
Yeah.
But moving into kind of comic books. It's a great segue.
Yes, it is. There you go.
I guess. Pros and cons of DC and Marvel. We're going to take a look at characters, story, mediums, as far as TV shows, movies, and stuff. We kind of mentioned it on the Cybercast, how DC's really rocking out those TV shows, Arrow and Flash, and Josh said that they're coming out on the CW with Brave and the Bold.
Yeah. No title on it yet, but it's
Mhm.
basically supposed to be like the comic series Brave and the Bold, to where they're gonna have Oliver Queen, they're gonna have Barry Allen, Flash and Arrow, but they're also going to and some other characters as well that we've seen in some of those series. They're also going to introduce at least 3 new comic characters as well. There's also a spoiler in there on one of the ones that they're going to add. So, it's joining that's not included in 3 new ones that they're going to add, and I'm not going to spoil that. So, if you want to read up on it, you can. But there you go.
Well, that.
You want me to spoil it for people?
Well, you can put it in the chat so you can spoil it for
okay.
us.
All right.
But yeah, what do you guys think about the rivalry? Because we talked about like GoBots and Transformers. It's great to have competition, and what better competition is Marvel and DC with each other? And do you guys have some memorable kind of thoughts? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
I don't know if this is going to be a flashback type thing or
Like that.
or a Lazarus pit type thing, so I don't spoil it. So,
But like storylines, you guys liked like. Did you think like DC really kicked it off in the '90s when they were doing like the Death of Superman, Hal Jordan going nutso, or maybe you liked Marvel what the direction they were going with some of their storylines, or just I gravitate towards X-Men because I'm a mutant fan or whatever. So kind of like that. I mean, we can dive into shows too and movies, but you're just your thoughts.
Sometimes I think Marvel kind of succeeds more at like stories that's kind of grounded in the real world, like the whole Civil War thing and the Superhuman Registration Act. And I think DC probably does a little better with the whole cosmic thing when they did the Blackest Night, War of the Lanterns, Infinite Crises.
Crises, yeah, they're good at those, big time.
Yeah,
It's a
the
very
big
blended.
reset buttons.
Yeah,
you also think it's kind of funny that how DC a lot of their more than Marvel that majority of their not majority but a lot of their key characters don't have superpowers, but where they're based off at is Metropolis, Gotham City, you know,
Central City, Star City,
yeah, Starling
Keystone
City, all these like made up stuff to where in Marvel it was like here you have like mutants, like which is further from just someone dressing up as a green dude and some leather and a bow and arrow taking out guys. It's more unrealistic that this dude is like got lasers coming out of his eyes and claws coming out of his hand, but they're in actual places in like United States, like New York and DC and
Manhattan.
stuff like Manhattan, stuff like that. So they're using real world places. So that always kind of was like a little strange to me, but
I remember one time when they did a crossover between DC and Marvel. I think it was a Justice League versus the Avengers. I think they actually kind of addressed it where they said like the world, the Earth in the DC universe could be a little bit larger than the actual Earth on Marvel because I think not, but I think the New York exists in DCU.
I think it does. I mean, it's weird because Gotham City and
Because I mean,
Metropolis
yeah, you
is
got
like the
Metropolis
same.
and
It's like
Gotham.
it's New York in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Wouldn't Gotham Manhattan?
What? Oh, Gotham being
eventually
Manhattan.
break up, man, all the time. So
Yeah. Sorry. Would Gotham be Manhattan?
Probably. I mean, something that like I know like Star City is like Seattle. Central
Seattle.
City or like Keystone City was is more like Denver. You have Coast City, which is more like San Francisco for like Green Lantern. All these type of these different towns that they come up with, which are based off of real ones. It's just for some reason they don't want to utilize
Yeah.
their actual names, but yet they'll use those names too. Like we said, they'll have Gotham City Metropolis, but then they'll say, "Oh yeah, New York." Well, isn't that what's going on here? Are they the
Because
same?
like
that was one thing that I thought that they did a really good job in the uh, Christopher Nolan films with Batman is they use Pittsburgh as Gotham City to where you look at Gotham City, there's some nice areas, and it's got all your major cities are going to have those really nice areas, but a lot of it's kind of like dark, and that's kind of the way Gotham is there was a lot of nice, there was this nice area, beautiful area, and then there is, a lot of like poverty and stuff like that. Pittsburgh's kind of it's a blue collar city,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that they did a really good job of like casting that as the city for the Christopher Nolan films for Gotham City, and you have the water and stuff like that, so that was perfect. For Metropolis, yeah, you would use more like Manhattan, You guys kind of get what I'm saying, I'm not trying to like put Pittsburgh down or anything like that. It's historic. It's a blue collar town, but you do have like those beautiful parts. It's the same with Dallas. Like Dallas, you got this downtown. It's beautiful. It's expensive. Addison up north, it's beautiful. Frisco up north, beautiful. Once you get past Dallas, man, there's this one street, and then there's Oak Cliff. You don't go there, so it's just there's more of that there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just always seen like DC and Marvel. It's like kind of like my taste in music. When I'm going, if I say I don't know whether you guys got it, but it's like I always use like Spotify and things like that because YouTube I just can't really be asked to type in every single song's or playlist. So if I'm going to be looking for a song, I don't want things on radio because it's like I hear that all the time. Basically, I want to hear something different. So if I'm gonna hear, say, some music, it's like right, okay, I'll type this in, I'll type that in. Maybe I'll type some like really old music in. And when it comes into like DC and Marvel is commercial. That is your radio. But DC is like if you were to say right, okay, name 30 of the main people in Marvel, you'd be like, wow, okay, basically every single member of like X-Men, and then you've got like the Avengers, things like that. But if I ask you name the 30 main people of DC, you're like, okay, you're not like, well, da 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 da. You've actually got to think. It's like, right, okay, let me go through Batman, let me try Superman, stuff.
For Justice League.
Kind of, yeah.
It's a good way to explain it. Yeah, and DC also has the two main, like if you put them both combined, who are the two most popular characters in the world, and it's Superman and Batman. Now third you could put Wolverine, just because of obviously all these X-Men movies and stuff like that, and the Wolverine movies, like Hugh Jackman playing him and being great at the part. You could put him third.
More than Spider-Man.
Oh well, no, Spider-Man would be Wolverine. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
Spider-Man would be Wolverine. But Wolverine is like, I mean, he was popular. He was one of my he was my favorite X-Men as a kid. I remember having the Toy Biz, where his helmet face came off or whatever, and you could wear it as a ring.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
What about Iron Man?
Actually, I'm not sure because Wolverine had a fight in one of the cartoons with like a cartoon movie with the Hulk, and they both drew each other. Neither of them could beat each other. So could Spidey? Actually, no, that could be just down to technique because it's kind of like.
I'm just talking about as far as popularity. Like if you.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like punchy punch, kick kick.
No.
No, Wolverine would get his ass kicked by the Hulk.
Yeah,
no matter what.
And so with Batman, but as far as the two most popular comic characters of all time are going to be Superman and Batman, and DC that's their bread and butter, and then they kind of here's all this other stuff right here, but it's like, hey, name a comic character. The Batman, everyone recognizes them. Even if you're a comic fan, or even the people that aren't comic fans, you show them the S, they can tell you that's Superman, and that goes for generations, all the way back. And everyone respects it, and even Batman as well. So those are the two most popular. And then you go to Marvel, to where I think they're a lot better as far as like groups and stuff like that. Not
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, but
Fantastic Four.
I always got to put that
Inhumans.
to the side because I hate Fantastic Four. But with X-Men, Avengers, all the stuff like they're doing with the Guardians of the Galaxy now. They're good as groups. With DC, they got the Justice League. They have the they're doing, doing all this type of group stuff, but they're better known for their individuals.
Yeah, their individuals came out first and were well established. I mean, you look at the Trinity, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. They were well established. And then they became a team. Green Lantern, Flash. These are all like just mainstay guys. The Avengers, they're the same, but they became more viable when they became like the Avengers.
Yeah.
Thor joining up, the Hulk. Even like obscure characters like Ant-Man and Wasp, and then throwing in Captain America. Where's he going to go? And throwing him into the mix. And even with the mutants, I mean the X-Men. I mean the whole thing about that was you got these characters who have deformities and going through the whole segregation and everything else, and being persecuted for being who they are. Was really it's an impactful if you look beyond the actual meaning what they were trying to come up with. But yeah, Wolverine's become this huge, huge character that he seems like he's immortal, and such. But he's, I think he's a guy that he's pretty powerful. But as far as I think Captain America, they've had the little like Captain America Annual #8 where they actually fight each other for a little bit, and even Uncanny X-Men 240, what was it, 248? No, 260. Or something when he has a flashback with him and the Black Widow as a kid and Captain America. Logan's been around a long time because of he's been around so long. He has a great set of skills and his healing factor and such, which makes him this really awesome character. But DC did a great job. I mean, they're iconic. I mean, let's go back to live action TV. We had the '60s Batman. We had the I don't know when the hell the George Reeves Superman show came out. I mean, that was around when my dad was kind of a kid or something. I don't know.
I want to say the early '60s.
What did we have for Marvel? Marvel had the Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby, with Lou Ferrigno. I remember that show. And other than that, though, we didn't really have any live action type of stuff. We got introduced to Thor in those movies or Daredevil. And I thought it was pretty cool, but it just didn't really work out. And you speed up to now, we still see that. Marvel still doesn't quite get the TV show unless it's S.H.I.E.L.D., which is it's a great show, but in some ways it's a cop-out because it's a spy show. It's like a CSI.
Have you seen the ratings for that show? Oof. I'm really surprised it's still going. It started at 8 or 9. And I think now every single episode of season 2 has been a 3 or 4. When they was gonna cancel it on the first season, but they said we have a lot of faith. We think that maybe it's just word of mouth, and the second season would be better. But no, you ain't seen the third season of that. It's just there's no point in them doing now. It's that bad. But anyway, carry on. Personally, I do like it though. I love it.
They need a movie, I think, to help carry it. To bring it viable.
It would help if they would had a bigger involvement in the movies. It's Adrian Coulson, everyone still thinks he's dead. It's well, if you show him in the movies, oh, you ain't dead. It's hey, yeah, I'm sorting out my own team of Shield, and then we are the agents of Shield now. It's there's the name and.
Well, I quit watching the Agents of Shield. I watched 2 episodes, and then I think I watched 2 or 3, and I was this isn't really that great. And then it was when Winter Soldier came out, and then people were dude, start watching it, because after Winter Soldier, it picks up. And I started watching, I was you know what? It's actually not that bad, And so it's one of those things to where, hey, if you integrate it into some of these little Shield or whatever, Hulk or Thor or whatever you want to do, the Avengers type movies, then I think that it could be watchable. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Jeremiah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, if you guys haven't I don't think they. If you guys haven't heard yet, they're actually using the Agents of Shield as a very backdoor way to introduce the Inhumans.
Yeah.
Oh,
I heard,
okay.
Because how everybody found this out is because at the end of season 1 and going into season 2, that's actually they just wrapped this up. Agent Coulson starts drawing this design, and it ends up being a 3D map. By how he got this map, I'm not going to tell you guys, but he got this. He's drawn this design. And then 2 months ago, they revealed an Inhumans, the latest Inhumans cover that has that same design on the floor. And then a lot of people were asking like, "Oh wait, are these connected?" And Marvel actually came out and said, "Yes, these are connected, and there are actually going to be a couple characters that are going to be brand new characters that are going to turn into Inhumans." And that was just confirmed with the mid-season finale of season 2.
So we'll get a Black Bolt, Medusa, Crystal.
No, as of right now, 2 of the original characters from the show are turning into Inhumans, and they just released a poster of, like, one of them was Reyna. Oops. Spoilers!
That's fine.
And another one, but as of right now, all they said is that those are the 2 people who are supposed to be Inhuman, but Inhumans are supposed to be, like, kind of like mutants, but a little bit, I'm just going to say mutants-ish. I don't know what makes them. Yeah, they're like cousins, but
supposedly wasn't it the Kree did something to a group of humans
and they're the descendants of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of like mutants, but like they're alien-made mutants, but like passed down the line type thing.
Yeah.
And since we do have an Inhumans movie coming out down 2018, I think.
Yeah.
So this is a great because that'll be a first starter, and this is a great way to explain what the Inhumans are. That way they can just hit the ground running.
That's cool, but as long as it's not too slow and kind of like it needs to. Like that's awesome that I heard that. I mean, it makes me want to maybe watch the show a little bit more now. But if I would have kind of got into that, I'd be like, Or...
Well, they don't start touching upon it until like the. I'm going in spoiler territory, so this is your warning. They don't start touching upon it until like the third, right before the. I'm just going to say the Winter Soldier saga of the last part of the season. They touch upon it, and then at the beginning of the second season, that's when they really start describing everything and what's going on. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and as of right now, the 2 people who became Inhumans, we don't know what their powers are because literally that's how the episode, because they go through basically like a cocoon transformation where they get enveloped and then their cocoons either shed or explode off, and then the chamber that they were in was starting to collapse, and that's the end of this. That's the end. That is literally the end of the episode, is the chamber collapsing, and then it cuts to credits.
Well, for what I saw, because I didn't know if, I thought this was just like a random, newly made thing. So I knew that, without saying any, names, but I'll make it kind of obvious because if you haven't seen it, then it's been out for ages, so 2-3 months, come on. We'll call her Pi. Pi turns into, this earthquakey person. So, these people, are these characters actual characters, or are they brand new characters?
They're
with powers.
I and what I'm gonna call the other one Flowers.
Yeah.
What the hell?
They are. I did my research. I was trying to see if they were trying to reference anybody with them. No, they are brand new, 100% original characters just for the show.
Oh,
and
that's
hey, I rather them try something brand new and try us to get invested in somebody new and actually go along the ride with them, then go, oh hey, this guy is a reference to a guy, a villain / turn renegade / turn vigilante who controls ice.
Yeah,
well, it's the thing with Transformers,
they did it with Guardians of the Galaxy, though. They turned around a B-list team into something with already pre-established characters. They weren't brand spanking new out of the woodwork.
Oh
And
no, they
I don't
they
want them to discount the Inhumans. That's
No.
all. Because the Inhumans, as far as the comic book is concerned, that I grew up with reading, is a family. It's a family group, and I know that they've, in a way, kind of not perverted it, but taken that origin and changed it. But you had the king, which was Black Bolt. You had his wife, Medusa. You
they're,
had Gorgon. You had all these guys that were a family unit. And now, if you're introducing two new characters that are totally brand new, which is great, but I don't want them to take away from Black Bolt because he's now in charge of the
You
Kree.
okay?
You
So-
dudes are nerds.
We are nerds. I
That's
know
what
a
I was wondering
shitload on
there
all
for a
this stuff
second.
as far as pre-90.
from what I'm getting from all this is that they're doing this as a way to establish that, hey, these are not mutants. Even though yes they have powers, they are not really mutants. They're just trying to establish what the humans really are, because if they really are from a bunch of if they really are a family of of actual bloodline that goes on, they can just slip these guys in. Oh hey, they're cousins. You know. They can do that, and then they also pre-establish that these people who have the powers live for a long time and don't age.
Really?
All right, I've got a lot of comments here.
Oh boy.
All right, so
Well, then
Godbot
it's-
says my mom collects geisha dolls, and my
Geisha
pops
dolls?
collects.
I've heard of those.
Oh, well, he put ass seen on TV merchandise, but I think it ass seen on TV merchandise. He has so much stuff. He recently asked if I could build a shed on my property to store his junk.
What?
He said that his pops
Oh,
collects so much as seen on TV merchandise that his pops actually asked him if he could build a shed on his property to store his stuff.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
God.
Oh my goodness, Leon Daya. I'm sorry, I know I didn't say that right. As in live action Brave and the Bold, yes, for the new live TV series on the CW. Godbot, why is DC good at cartoons and television shows but bad at movies? Well, I actually like the new Super. I like the Man of Steel. I like that one. I like the character or the actor they had to play him. Was it something Calavari or something like that? The dude that was in Immortals.
Yeah.
And very looks Superman the part. I like the Christopher Nolan Batman films. I mean, I thought they were good. So
A lot of
Other than
people
that,
didn't
I mean,
really like the new Superman because he was like, "Oh, you should be powerful." It's like, think about it. That's his first proper fight. You gotta
Yeah.
give him a break. He probably doesn't even know anything about his powers. He's like, "Well, this is the first time I've actually had to punch someone." That guy's never been in a fight in his life, so he didn't do that bad. Give him credit.
yeah, I mean, the whole thing about that movie is it kind of brought you from child to his first real battle, and the thing is that the people, Zod and the people that he was facing off with were just as powerful as him. So it's they're the same, to where they actually had military training, to where Superman was just baby that was on Earth. He didn't have any type of military training. So I mean, it made sense.
Well, it was better than what we got back in the Richard Donner movies, where he took on Lex Luthor in the first one, and I'd like that, but having Zod, I think was better, and we also have to kind of bring him down to a more human level with Superman, because if he could destroy anything, he could, as far as powerful he is, he could wipe out the atmosphere. He could do. And there's so much stuff that he could do.
Especially now.
If he's just wiping the floor with everybody, then that's not going to be entertaining.
I mean, it was a great spot in the last episode of Justice League Unlimited when he's taken on Darkseid, when he finally says, what? You're the one guy that I can let loose and I don't have to hold back. And all the time I'm worried that I'm going to kill someone, I can't do this, but he's like, with you, gloves are off. And he just pounded the crap out of him. But, that's the type of thing, and, yeah, it would be great to see, Superman just, full power extreme. But
People
yet then
kept
it'd be
on-
like, whoa, okay, this is like, what's the point of seeing like a guy that can just take out anybody?
Well, people kept on saying, I was like, well, Superman doesn't kill. I'm like, you've never read the comics because he's killed several
Yeah.
times.
Mm.
So
Yes, he has. He has.
Oh yeah.
I guess
had the
moving
one
on from
book.
that. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, move ahead. This will be another hour. Trust me.
Okay, well, Shava, he says, any of y'all collect like Randy Bowen statues, non-Transformer related DC Marvel? I'm not a statue collector, so I don't know if any of you guys are.
No.
Nope.
No.
Sorry.
I collect
We're
multiple
lying.
tanks, that's
Alright.
about it.
Godbot says, when is Marvel going to come out with the new mutants? Excuse me.
Depends on how they're gonna portray it.
They can't call them mutants because Fox has the rights just to the
Yeah.
word alone.
As a matter of fact, potential spoiler. This is a theoretical spoiler. I don't know if it's true or not, but a friend of mine hinted at this, and it makes sense. But there's two characters in the Avengers movies, and they're saying there's possibility maybe they might be kind sorta Inhumans and mutants.
But
Because they can't. Yeah, because they can't call them mutants.
Oh, they call them miracles.
Yes.
Oh, we've seen that at Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that.
yeah,
But,
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
hmm
Scarlet Witch destroy everybody.
Scarlet, yeah, when she goes nuts,
She's
watch
quite
out.
sweet.
Yeah, she's one of those people that you don't know if you want around.
Magneto's children.
Yeah, Magneto can really pump them out, just the weirdos. But
he's basically like the well, God, who was it? I was thinking about Peyton Manning's dad. Yeah, it's like
Archie, Archie
Yeah,
Manning.
Archie. Here's two NFL quarterbacks.
Here we
would have
have.
been, but he got injured, whatever. So
It would have been good if they used the same actor from.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, I really liked him. It's just the way he played. He was like, yeah, I really liked that. But then there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about the New Mutants. It would be kind of cool. I would rather see a New Mutants as far as it evolves within the movie into X-Force or something more dark.
Yeah.
They're more like a strike team instead of just these kind of newbies that are, underneath the X-Men's kind of shadow. And hopefully they rival like the Helens, the Hellfire Club, which I would really love to see that implemented into one of these X-Men movies. Just a really, nice, team that they could actually take on. But going back to DC for some reason, I mean, sorry Ryan Reynolds, but you're not a good Green Lantern. Hal
No.
Jordan, no.
Ugh.
They go with their cash cows, like what Josh said. Most recognizable. It's going to be that bat. It's going to be that S. And let's milk it for all it's worth. And who wants to play Batman? Hey, you want to play Batman? All right, let's do it. And let's reinvent. And that's what they do constantly. Let's reinvent the character every single time.
My problem is the way everyone's going. I hope and doesn't be a guest star in his own movie.
I only caught guest star in his own movie.
that's all I call to Trent. God, man, you please upgrade the internet, bro.
I did. No, I was saying I hope Superman doesn't end up being a guest star in his own movie, even though it is called Batman.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, they're gonna use the Henry Cavill, or whatever his name is, the guy that was in Man of Steel, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, the one thing that really kind of makes me mad about DC is they have no problem with like, oh, you don't want to be this person, okay, like they don't sign anyone to like some type of long contract, with like they do with James Bond. Like Daniel Craig didn't even want to be in this, the newest James Bond or the next one, but he's signed a contract where he's committed to at least two more, I believe. You know, so like he had like 5 where he's got to be James Bond, regardless whether you want to or not. If we're making it, then you're going to be James Bond. Uh, if they did that with, because what if throughout this whole time we saw Wolverine be like 3 or 4 different people instead of Hugh Jackman? You
Yeah.
know, even whenever they're doing these flashback episodes that happen before X-Men, Hugh Jackman obviously gets older, but hey, it's still Hugh Jackman, and we're just like, that's
Yeah.
what we want to see.
It's like Robert Downey
It's the same
Jr.
character.
Iron Man.
Yeah, so if they all of a sudden changed it, well, with Batman, whenever you look at, as far as movies go, Michael Keaton and Tim Burton. Tim Burton was known for only doing he wanted to do different movies all the time, and be very artsy about it and the way that he wanted it to be done. He did the first Batman with Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, or yeah. Okay, I watch golf, so I always say Jack Nicholson and Jack Nicklaus. They're very close, but Nicholson. So Tim Burton, they wanted to do that, and Michael Keaton loved the way that turned out. And the very first time Tim Burton committed to doing a sequel was Batman Returns. First time in his career. And he did Batman Returns. Michael Keaton agreed to come on. And then whenever Tim Burton said, okay, it looked like, was it Warner Brothers wanted to kind of move in a new type of direction, Tim Burton said, nope, not doing it. Because they wanted to take less power away from him the way that it was done, and they were wanting to do it more of kind of the way that it ended up being in Batman Forever. And it was like, nope, not my way. I want to keep it dark. And they were like, nope, we want to kind of make it more, add in funny stuff, add in Jim Carrey and stuff. Nope. So because he left, Michael Keaton said, I'm not doing it either. There wasn't a long-term contract there, which that was, back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I don't know how contracts work back then, but now, it's almost like, the Marvel, they got their stuff down, So Thor in the first one was the same one, and Avengers and Thor 2, and probably be in Thor 3, and to where then they had, Batman Forever, Val Kilmer. And he didn't even sign on to do the next one. They had to do, a new, George Clooney, and you're just like, it runs something for me. One, it's not Tim Burton style, but now you have this weird cuckoo looking Gotham City, and all of a sudden it looks like a freaking fun house from a circus. But that's the direction Warner Brothers wanted to go, and anytime they change the Supermans like they did, I like the new Superman. I really like that actor for him, and I think he's perfect for it. But I'd hate for him to be like, I don't want to be in this new one, and then they're like, well, this is supposed to continue on from Man of Steel, but now we got a new character or a new actor to play Superman. It's like that kind of ruins a little something for me. Does that run stuff for you whenever they change that? 'Cause it messes it up. It's like, you know what? Can we sign someone to long-term contracts and let's do this thing right?
Yeah.
Well, that all did actually stem from the whole Batman movies, where the reason why they didn't have contracts because it was all like baby steps. Like, is this okay? Did it do good? Okay, now we're going to do the next step. Because back when they did the Batman movies, they didn't have an idea those movies were going to do well. I mean, yeah, the TV shows did okay, but and again, it wasn't the reason why they do contracts now is because how successful all the movies are doing now. I mean, the perfect example is DC's history in general. Aside from the Superman movies from the early ones with Christopher Reeves, they were all kind of either they did really good or they did crap. They didn't do anything well. That's why they've always been kind of like, this is the first time they can actually have a continuously, aside from Batman, this is the first time they can actually do that kind of contract stuff.
Yeah. I just wish that DC would come up with a studio like what Marvel Studios does and integrate their storylines within the same continuity and make it do something and lead up to Crisis, lead up to some major event that, oh crap, we're getting this person in here, we're getting this person in here, we're getting this person in here, and even if they do, that's great. But it just seems like if you have a blueprint in front of you, you don't want to steal it. But if it's working for Marvel, why not mess with it? And
Yeah, because they plan on doing a Justice League, but I mean, there's so many characters. There's more characters in Justice League than there is in like an Avengers or something like that. So, not saying you don't have to come out with movies for them all like they did with Black Widow. They didn't do it with Hawkeye. So, but there are certain ones that I think that you would need to do. I think you need if you want to be like, okay, this is the new thing, and the jump point is Man of Steel. Let's say that's the jump point, and with that Superman and Batman versus Superman is like, okay, now here's your new Batman jump point. Because I'd love for him to go back to the Christopher Nolan films, but Christian Bale's not doing Batman anymore. It's Ben Affleck, so now you've changed characters now, or the actor. So now Man of Steel would have to be jump point. You have Batman versus Superman. Maybe you do something else there, and you have to do a new Green Lantern. Aquaman, you don't have to give me a movie. Just make him like Hawkeye, okay, or Black Widow. I don't need his own movie. Cyborg, I wouldn't mind seeing him.
Yeah,
That'd be a good movie.
The bad part is that it's the whole title of Batman and Superman is Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and it has been confirmed Wonder Woman and Aquaman are going to be in the movie, and we just saw Aquaman's costume, which, granted, it doesn't look bad, but they're trying. Everybody said this, and everybody can say it with me. They're trying to rush it too fast. Because the reason why the Marvel movies are doing so good is because we basically got. I mean, the reason why the DC universe doesn't work as movies is because their stories are drawn out. Like, this is the perfect example. The reason why they work so well as a TV show is because that's how the storylines work. With all the subplots and all the character introductions, they make a better season of their storyline of one thing happening.
That's just up to a writer.
Yeah.
They could formulate a movie and put something out. It's just that's their way of doing things. They don't want to do it.
But the way I've always seen it, it always makes sense for them to, for a DC story at least, it's always better for them to just stretch it out and let it what's the better way to put it? A DC storyline is like pot cooking it, in a
You're slow cooking it.
And it's better to slow cook a DC story when a Marvel story, the Marvel story is right from the bat. You can microwave and go.
True, but their DC one-shots animated flicks do really well.
They do, and recently they've been actually connecting them all too.
But
even though they're
not the Aquaman one.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and that's cool, but then they shouldn't be in the movie business. If it's going to have to percolate for a couple of years as far as building up to some magnitude, you're going to lose your
Just do the
lose your
TV
audience.
series. Like Flash and Arrow, those things are wildly successful. They're even getting a team up one, and you come out with a movie. I don't care if what's his name is the guy that plays Oliver Queen and Barry Allen. If they're well-known actors, I'd rather have my superheroes not be well-known actors, and maybe they played in a few things here and there, but like now I know them as those characters, and like I care about what happens to them, and then if you want to spring them into their own movie, then fine.
perfect example of that is Thor. Chris Hemsworth. Because no one knew who that guy was until he was Thor.
And then his brother started acting too.
Liam, yeah.
Yeah, he got him a job. I was like, well, we'll get the the knockoff version. We'll get the reissue. We'll get the reissue. So can't afford the original.
I wish that DC would just take a chance. I mean, I don't really care about Marvel's Ant-Man, but he's getting a movie, and he's part of the whole scenario, which I don't give a crap. He's not even the one that creates Ultron. But as far as but no.
No, I have a theory. I have a theory because
hold
I
on
know
here.
that. Huh?
Hold on.
Okay. That's go.
Because now you're starting to kind of tick me off.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry. I'm sorry.
My theory is the fact that you have these characters, and yes, are they A-listers? Probably not. But you look at the Guardians of the Galaxy, that did really well. It was well written, whatever. But that was a team. I would love to see a Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, Hawkman. I think that he's one of my favorite characters. I think a Captain Marvel, or call him Shazam because of Marvel, wouldn't like that. Would actually do something. Um, it could actually, formulate something because that was actually a show back in the, we had a cartoon of that. You could do the whole family if you wanted. Black Adam. I mean, it's a great Nemesis, storyline they could do. There's other characters they could go with. Black Canary, maybe Wonder Woman. Obviously, they're going to be doing. And then they could branch off into some of the younger characters, like the Justice League, or not Justice League, but the Teen Titans, Nightwing, all of that. But they don't. They don't want to touch those characters for some reason. They can only be supporting cast members. They're not enough that they're willing to put forth the effort behind them to let them kind of like become something. I think if you have the good the writers behind it, sure, it will do something, but they don't have that that want. It has to be Batman. It has to be Superman. They have to be linked. If it's not linked to one of those, then I don't want to do it. But what's your theory on Ant-Man?
Well, I'm going. From what I've been gathering from all the synopsises and everything with that's been publicized, so you guys can look this up too, is that in Avengers: Age of Ultron, Tony Stark revives an old defense program, an old defense AI program that later goes self-aware and that ends up becoming Ultron. It's not Ant-Man himself because Hank Pym is played by Michael. What's his name? The old dude
Michael
in the trailer. Yeah. It could be a case of not the new Ant-Man, but the actual Hank Pym designed this guy back in the '80s, sealed him away, and Tony Stark dug him up.
Based
Okay,
off his
that would
own
be cool.
thought pattern and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well.
And so in a way he did create him, but is like I started that, but I thought he got too dangerous and just kind of boxed him up. But that's what I think. But that's a theory.
That would work because I was kind of because like the whole Ant-Man not being Ham kind of disconnected me from that Ant movie. The fact that they took such a drastic departure with him.
Hank Pym, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it? Like Scott Lang? Who's already what? He's dead in the comics.
Really?
As far as I know. Jack of Hearts killed him.
And another thing, curious how they're going to season 1 movie.
What?
We love having Trent's on. It's
No, because
It's almost a game trying to figure out what he's trying to say.
no, I'm saying I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to pull off this Wonder Woman movie.
Oh.
Whenever they do it, because there was a rumor going around that DC for their cinematic universe was thinking about not having magic now. And I'm like, okay, Wonder Woman's from a race of Amazon that was created by the gods. So if you get rid of that aspect,
First, Wonder Woman needs to have her own movie, and obviously they already have someone that they plan to do. I thought that Bridget Regan would be the perfect Wonder Woman. She was in Legend of the Seeker, and she was also on White Collar. She was the one that kind of deceived, one dude, the main character, or whatever. Yeah, Neil. Yeah, so Just she when she has her dark hair, man, she looks like a Wonder Woman type. I mean, she has the figure, everything, athletic ability. Like why would she not be Wonder Woman? I don't know.
Alexander Daddario. That's who I picture as Wonder Woman. Oh, maybe Donna Troy, but I could see her as a Wonder Woman though.
Oh, but isn't Alexandra? She's a little bit younger. Bridget is she's 33. Oh, and by the way, James, happy birthday, man! It was your birthday this week, right?
About a week ago.
Oh, it was a week ago.
A couple of weeks.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, mine's
Thank you.
tomorrow. So like James and I, we're like within like a week and a half of each other. So
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you guys want to talk on that, or we've been going on for almost about an hour.
An hour and 40 minutes, and
Yeah.
we've not talked about Transformers once.
I thought we did at the very beginning.
Transformers,
Yeah.
Transformers Hangout, where we talk about Dustin Shelfs and
That's all we do. We talk about
Collection
shelves and
and-
cleaning.
All right, well, we can touch on the Transformers topic really quickly here if you guys want. It was going to be characters, G1 characters that you think are better in a different series. And like I mentioned, for an example, animated Blitzwing. Really, totally different than what we got from the G1 cartoon. I mean, he's got split personality, all that type of stuff. It was fantastic how it was written into the storyline. Granted, G1 didn't have a lot of character development on a lot of these characters to begin with, but as far as just Blitzwing as a whole, I think he really shines in animated.
Yeah, Blitzwing, G1 Blitzwing really didn't have anything develop until Five Faces of Darkness,
Well, that and the Triple Takeover. That
Yeah,
episode was.
so, I mean, he had a couple episodes where, like, you got a little bit more in there, but, I can't say better than G1 just because the only thing that I've really watched was G1 and Japanese stuff and Prime. But I'm going to go with as good as G1. And, for me, I think most people that know me, that's a big step.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Soundwave and Starscream as they were just as good characters in the Transformers Prime series as they were in G1. You love that thing about Soundwave to where he was always quiet, and just did what he's told and whatever. But whenever we saw him that one time where it was time to, kick butt, man, he was just, awesome. And Starscream was basically like the same thing that we saw in G1. Like, they were basically the same. I absolutely love that. One guy that may be better in Transformers Prime than in G1 was...
Okay, you just limit yourself to one. I mean, you got two there. Let's get everyone else's opinion. Let's not take everyone else.
Smoke Screen, just because...
Okay, so you threw it out there anyways.
No. Sorry.
All right. If you have to
So-
copy Josh's, that's fine. We'll just
Do we get 1 or 3 or 50? How many do we get?
try and do one
Okay.
for now.
For now. Okay. For me, I like Armada Starscream. He was a really cool character. I thought how he slowly, his morality got into the character and how he changed sides toward the end. Spoiler.
It was just raw emotion that came from him, and
Yeah.
it's not necessarily okay. Like, the script was good, but as well as on top of that, like the voice actor for it, you could.
It's how the character, grew throughout the show.
Yeah.
And changed. Instead of always trying to backstab Megatron.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyone else?
Mine was definitely 100%. It's gotta be. This is the one that stands out like the most is Cybertron, which I've talked about this before. Just different kind of way of asking a question, but it's Cybertron Optimus, just because it was the only series that he finally realized it is because of Vector Prime said they don't do as they do because you're the leader. They do it because you're basically they want to do it. They're your friend, equals and all that. And yeah, it was amazing seeing him because one, it was finally he managed to take out Megs on his own, and it was always like through Armada, through Energon, and all of that is like the both two always collided, but they never actually wanted to take each other out. It was kind of like reliving the Batman and Joker. None of them wanted to kill each other, really, because Prime, Batman's like, well, if I kill you, I'm pushing myself over the edge, and Joker's like, well, I don't want to kill you because then I've got no more fun. And then, by the way, take this grenade and you fucking have a nice day. But when it comes into like Optimus Megatron, it's like you saw through like Armada, there was always hesitant to really push over the limit, and it's the same as Energon. Is they wanted Prime wanted like just peace, but Megatron just wanted to lead. He wanted leadership. He wanted to be a ruler. He never did. He's like, oh, my main objective. I just want to kill Prime. It was never that until like, the final battle, where the true again talk about raw emotions. The raw emotions that came from Prime and Megatron. That was like in essence pure of what good and evil was. Like the final battle of good versus evil kind of thing, and it's amazing. That's why still to this day I don't think there's anything better than Cybertron, because of how they made you, it's like you really sympathize, you really loved the characters, and as what Jay said, it started basically kind of like from animated Armada, where you saw it like with Starscream, and in Energon you saw a little bit more with like a couple of people there. You saw it with Scorponok, of all people, Scorponok. Ironhide, then you saw a little bit of Superior Maximus. There was loads of characters you really felt for, but Cybertron was just flawed. That's it. Flawless, even, not flawed. So yeah, that's my answer.
I mean, don't get me about Cybertron with some of the dialogue. I mean, there's one time where Vector Prime says, he literally says, I feel a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
That was awesome.
I was like, I get it wrote that. Well, yeah, I kind of like Starscream the way he was portrayed. He was not no sniveling coward or whatever. He actually wasn't interested in. A few times, you kind of got the impression he didn't just want to overthrow Megatron so he could rule. Sometimes he was actually trying to, tell Megatron that he might want to do. He just wouldn't listen to him. So.
Well, no matter, all you wanted to do is just be a good soldier, and he was literally on the floor in tears, like before he died. He's like, all I ever wanted to do is just to show that I'm not just an idiot, kind of thing. I can actually be a really good soldier if you just give me the chance. And it's just like, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got, Dalton?
It's a hard one because everyone's saying Starscream, and I would like to agree. It's just I don't want to be a cop out with that.
Then go with Ultra Magnus.
Which one?
True.
Go with RID.
You can go anyone better than Hot Rod. If you want Hot Rod, he was horrible. Or Rodimus, I'm sorry.
How about animated Ultra Magnus? How about animated Shockwave?
Yeah, because Shockwave in animated was like really a lot. It was just so much darker than the G1 Shockwave. I mean, spoiler alert: he mutilates someone, so he can just blow his cover.
My favorite one was for like Shockwave is Garby, like the Fall of Cybertron. It was like the mad scientist kind of thing. Well, I don't know. You got two things. You got mad scientist Fall of Cybertron, or you got Prime, which is like the doctor is in the house. And it's just like the big eye just looking. And he wasn't just crazy scientist, but you could tell like whenever like he came in the room, everyone just went, would you want me over that barrel or that barrel? Take your pick. Do you know what I mean? It was literally like that, and it's very rare you see scenes like that. So yeah.
Well, then when you see him get into a fight too, I mean, he can fight for a scientist.
Yeah.
The Yeah. Prime, he was just a badass. He
Yeah.
slow pimped walked up to, like Bulkhead and Wheeljack and just like, what do you guys do? And
Yeah.
then they scattered off and he's like, all right. And the whole place is collapsing. He's like, I need a space bridge, Soundwave. All right. And just
Yeah.
walks off. But Josh, I'm surprised you didn't say, Beast Hunter's Predaking. Being better than G1 Predaking. I mean, that's just.
Well, nothing's okay. To go on record, nothing's better than G1. So
That's a bold-faced lie.
these
here,
are all
Joe.
pipe dreams.
RID Bumblebee right now with G1.
I got one.
All
I
right.
got another one. G1 Grimlock versus, and I know this comic gets a lot of crap thrown at it, but
Oh, we're going comics
interpretation
now
of
too. Jesus.
Sure.
Dreamwave, the way that they actually turned Grimlock from being, a big dumb powerhouse dinosaur to actually being he was the most rival leader of the odds, and
I
I
have no
liked it.
idea what he's saying, but I like big dumb stupid.
I like that
Grimlock,
big
so-
Grimlock was actually a contender to be the next leader of the odds.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I
He like-
remember from Dreamwave was everyone hated Grimlock because he changed sides. And Trailbreaker kind of put him in his place. In the very beginning of Dreamwave. The first miniseries.
I only started reading War Within back which takes place right after
Oh.
Megatron kills Sentinel Prime.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
talking
All
the
these
first
spoilers
Dreamwave.
need to be posted to let everybody know about.
Oh,
Spoilers.
come on. These things have been out for what, 5, 8 years? I mean,
Yeah, it's almost Dreamwave was
What if
early
one day I would
2000s.
read it and then
the good old Pat
now
Lee
it's all
days.
ruined?
It was, yeah. I mean, well, hey, Jay, in the Dreamwave comics, Superion gets blown up by a nuke. Wheeljack sacrifices himself.
You are dead to me.
And all this other stuff happens.
Yeah, Grimlock's whole thing was, look, Optimus, you're a nice guy, you're probably respectable. Now they not get that, but he's like, yes, not gonna his man. You got to get on, and you're gonna have to meet his brutality with brutality of your own. This, not going to the level of our enemy thing. You just gonna get yourself killed.
Yeah.
We're all like, yeah. Yes. Trent, you are our comic book expert here, just to let you know. So every Aftercast you have to be on
There's a
there.
few things I was.
So, but,
There's a few things I've missed.
but still. So we've been going on for 2 hours, so we'll call it good there. But that is it for the Aftercast. We'll be back next week, Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. But we have other shows you guys should check out. The Cybercast, G1 Extron's channel, every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have an eBay show once a month. It's on G1 Extron's channel at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday. We'll let you guys know when the next episode's going to be airing. We do have some guests that are going to be on the Cybercast in the near future. We just have to set some dates. Susan Blue. We have Derek J. Wyatt. Possibly, Rick Alvarez and Bold Forms, and whoever else we can get. But we do have a I have my notes. We're bringing back the collection spotlight. So if you guys want your collection to be spotlighted on the Cybercast, take some pictures of it, send it to G1Xtron's email address, which is g1xtron@gmail.com. And make sure the pictures are, between 10 to 20 pictures. We don't need, like single pictures of each robot or thing in your collection because that just might be too long and such. But just put in the subject line, collection, and, obviously tell him who you want to be, called so we can give you credit if you want to use your real name, alias, made-up name, whatever you want. Just let him know. And if you guys want to outro yourself, starting with Chris.
No, please.
Oh, Josh needs to go first. All right.
All right, so you can find me G1 Hextron on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and my Facebook page, the G1 Hextron. So thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Drop the mic.
He had an emergency he had to take care of. We all have it at times.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris, give us a
Facebook,
slight
YouTube,
little.
and Twitter, Barrow Prime.
All right, cool.
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at DaltoniansTFs. The next episode of Cartoon Mondays will be airing on the 16th of March. It'll be Tailspin, so
Tailspin. Awesome.
to that.
Cool. Way to take the cue, too, Dalton. That was awesome.
Alright, I'm Jay. You can find me on Twitter at NemesisJazz13.
Awesome. Jeremiah?
I do have a YouTube account, and it's actually Werewolf Finder. And I actually do have a couple of Transformer reviews up, and I do plan on rebooting that here soon.
Sweet. Trent?
You can find me at Trent5 at Twitter and Trent5 on Facebook.
Awesome. And I'm Victory Saber 77. You can find me YouTube, Twitter, and that's it. No Instagram, no Xbox Live, no nothing else. So no Facebook either. So all right, we will see you guys next week.